We're back. It is Friday, September 16th, Parlay Friday, week 2 of NFL season. It's technically week 3 of college football, but they'll tell you that it's week 2 because they do week 0, which is a little bit weird. But we're back. Anthony was scorching hot going into last week, cooled off a little bit, which is okay because everybody cools off. And I'm going to turn the hat around, actually, while we're doing this. I don't like the way that looks. There we go. I'm rocking the Hawaii hat. You could probably bet against Hawaii for the foreseeable future because they can't score any points. That's okay. But, Ant, how we feeling coming off a Thursday night game here with the Chargers and the Chiefs that was, honestly, it was pretty ugly.
I don't know if I go completely ugly. I thought it was a good game for the most part. I mean, it was, down to the wire, nail biter. I thought the Chargers in the first half, they looked so good. And then obviously the Chiefs just came out in the second half and they took that game away. Once Herbert threw that pick six, you just knew it was going Chiefs all the way. So the Chiefs come away with a 27-24 win, had Justin Herbert in fantasy. So was really, really on edge when I saw him go down there. But luckily he came back up. We'll see how he is next week. But that rib, that's going to be a factor potentially for the rest of the year for the Chargers.
It is. Key, good morning. Welcome to the show. Yeah, Ant, the thing is here, first of all, I'm a little perturbed right now because the backdoor cover was unbelievable by the Chargers there. I mean, on fourth down too. That's besides the point. But I thought the Chargers defense played really well for a lot of that game. I think the Chargers offensive line is an issue, right? Especially right now. Like that's a big issue, especially, I mean, last night, like Justin Herbert, you got to keep that guy upright. That's your whole team right there. Keenan Allen could go out, guys could go out, but if he's not healthy, they have problems. Even on that 3rd and 1 or that 3rd and 2 late in the game where he had the first down to run and he just stopped running and he just threw the ball into the ground. Looks like a broken rib. The thing that sucks about broken ribs is that you can't do anything about it.
Nope.
There's no healing. It has to heal on its own. So either you sit out or you just play with broken ribs. I don't know how that's going to look. Mahomes and the Chiefs offense, though, didn't really look great. What did you think about them last night?
Yeah, so, I mean, first off, and for the Chargers, their offensive line, I mean, their center and their starting right tackle both got hurt last night in the middle of the game. So by the end of the game, it's understandable why their offensive line wasn't protecting him all that well. But moving on to the Chiefs, I mean, there were teams people saying last week, like, this Chiefs offense looks even better without Tyreek Hill. No, it does not. They played in Arizona. I'm an Arizona Cardinal fan. They played an Arizona Cardinal defense that cannot stop a nosebleed. So you know what? Yeah, they look great. He threw for 500 yards and 5 touchdowns, but that's against an Arizona Cardinals defense who have, over the past 2-3 years, they've gotten lit up by teams and guys, you name it. Jalen Hurts in his rookie year, Tua in his rookie year. Light up this Arizona Cardinals defense. So I'm not taking last week's Chiefs offense into account saying they're better without Tyreek Hill. No, they're going to be worse without Tyreek Hill because you know why? He's one of the best receivers in football. And when things are not going well, you throw the ball 80 yards down the field and he'll get there and make the play. So last night they played a really good Chargers defense, and we saw that this Chiefs offense will have faults throughout this year. They're still going to be good, still going to be at the top of the division and the standings come the end of the year. But this Chiefs offense, we're going to see weeks where they struggle pretty heavily. And we saw it sometimes last year, even with Tyreek Hill. But now life after Tyreek Hill, it's not going to be all roses and dandy for the Chiefs. They're going to be some hardships this year.
They need receivers. You're right. They need receivers to make some plays. Yeah. I mean, like Juju stinks. I'm sorry. I said this when they signed him. Everyone was like, oh, look for Juju to have a big year. Why? Juju can't get open. I feel like he cannot get open. When he was good? He was good when he had Antonio Brown on the other side of him because nobody was really paying attention to him. He can't get open. He's not a number 1 guy. He's like a low end number 2, maybe. He's not good. I'm going to die on that hill that he's just not good. He could do all his TikTok dances in the locker room, all he wants, but he's not a number 1 receiver. So get that idea out of your head. Mecole Hardman is a burner, and that's fine. Another guy, he's got to beat a corner one-on-one down the field because if there's a safety over the top, he can't seem to beat them. They double Kelsey, and then these other guys can't make plays. That's a problem. Edwards-Helaire outside the 52-yard run at the end of the game last night, I don't think they're really great at running back. Their offense is Mahomes and Kelsey, so it's going to be problematic against teams with good defenses this year. I don't see how this is going to work out. I'm not sure how they're going to score a lot of points. Other
And
than
to harp on their offense. I mean, a week ago, Kirk Herbstreit in the pregame last night, he was like, first off, the Arizona Cardinals, their whole coaching staff needs to go. He was like, the Cardinals they blitzed Mahomes all game and they played man coverage. So Mahomes was able to light it up. Last night, you had a good defense that have guys that can get pressure while still playing zone. So Mahomes was under pressure and the Chargers played a solid zone all night. So Mahomes couldn't just pick apart a man-to-man defense. And this is what's going to happen all year. If teams can get pressure on Mahomes while also playing a zone defense, it's going to be a long year for the Chiefs offense that we've been so accustomed to seeing them throw for 500 yards a game. It's not going to happen against good defenses with actual schemes. Unlike I'm really ranting on the Cardinals defense today, but awful game plan last week. Flipping Mahomes and playing man coverage. It's never going to work.
Also, I don't know what they were doing at times. There was a play last night in the third quarter. They're blocking Khalil Mack one-on-one with the backup tight end.
Right.
What do we do? What are you doing? What are you doing? I know you got Joey Bosa on the other side, but you got to have something better than Mack just like threw the guy out of the way and made a tackle for loss. What are you doing with the schemes here? I don't know. They're going to have to figure something out. Andy Reid will probably figure some stuff out. Chiefs are 2-0. All that being said, the Chiefs are still 2-0.
Right.
So they'll figure out. They still have Patrick Mahomes. We know how good he is. That's all well and good. Going into this weekend, though, before we get into our best bets and everything, are there any games that you're looking forward to this weekend?
I mean, Cardinals-Raiders is going to be an interesting one. That's going to be an offensive juggernaut. What other games do we have this weekend? Tampa Bay Bucks-Saints is a decent game. There's some decent games on the slate this weekend. I don't even know about college football. I'd be honest. I really didn't look at that.
Oh, come on, dude. Freddie Henderson, what's up, my friend? How are we doing here? I love when people come in, they comment, they interact. College football, I'm looking at a couple different college football games. But I mean, you got Texas A&M against Miami, ranked on ranked. You got Oregon is, hold on, let me look at the schedule right now while we're at it. Also, unofficially sponsored by DraftKings, everyone. If you can see the sweatshirt, the unofficial sponsor. Also, please subscribe to and Bad Birdie as well. Also, please subscribe to the Spotlight Sports Network. Please subscribe to Parlay Friday. We're here for you. Spotlight Sports Network is bringing you content all day long. So they're starting now. You got another show coming up at 10. There's a lot going on here. So we're gonna keep it moving. Now, let's get to some college football look-aheads here. So like I said, BYU, Oregon. Another ranked-on-ranked game, 3:30. Like I said, A&M against Miami. Then we got, what do we got here? Another good game, Michigan State in Washington. Michigan State's ranked 11th. Washington is unranked, but Washington's favored by 3. Don't be a sucker. That's all I'll say about that one. And then UTSA, this is going to be sneaky, all right? I'm not making it an official pick on the show. I just think it's something to look at. I talked about them last week too. So University of Texas San Antonio is going to Texas. Texas just lost a really tough game against Alabama, okay, in Austin. They lost Ewers, right? I think this is a spot where Texas might be a little overconfident after going toe-to-toe with Bama. I'm not saying UTSA wins the game. I think covering the 12.5 points, though, is not out of the realm of possibility.
So is UTSA your new Diamondbacks from a year ago? Is that what's going to be every week? We're going to be looking at the UTSA spreads?
Yes, that is what it's going to be every week. The Diamondbacks, for those of you who don't know, last year the Diamondbacks were my most bet on team. And you know, 500. Listen, even bad baseball teams win 60 games. Also, Spotlight Sports Network is sponsored by SeatGeek. You get 20% off your purchase with promo code Spotlight Sports Network. So there you go. That is Spotlight Sports Network as the promo code on SeatGeek for 20% off your purchase. Also, yes, Panthers-Giants. All right, Panthers-Giants. I'll get to that one in my parlay. I have that, spoiler alert. I have a pick in that game in my parlay, so I will get to that. But let's get moving on best bets for today. And what are you starting with?
Best bet, we're going Braves, first 5, -0.5. Get these odds at -125. We got Max Fried taking on Ranger Suarez, Braves, Phillies. Braves finally returning home, get some home cooking after a long West Coast road trip. Max Fried, I really don't have to say that much about him. He's one of the best pitchers in baseball. This Braves team, they're coming off a loss in San Francisco in their last game. And this team, they just do not lose back-to-back games once the calendar flips and we get into the nitty-gritty and the postseason push. So the Braves, about a game and a half out of first place. Look for them to at least cover this first 5, and I'm sure they're going to win this game. I mean, Ranger Suarez, he's all right. He's given up 7 runs in his last 2 starts. So I love the matchup when it comes to starters, Fried versus Suarez. And I like the Braves lineup better than the Phillies. So what's not to like about this bet? Braves first 5.
Yeah, the Braves should have overtaken the Mets for the division already, but nobody seems to want to take the lead really there. I mean, the Mets are up a game, but yeah, I would, as a Mets fan, I've just been, if I had the money, what I would do is just bet the Braves money line every game the rest of the way. And that if you could have got them at plus 150 to win the NL East a week ago. That would have been the bet of the year right there. But yeah, I like that move. That's the best bet. I like that. All right, I'm going to football. I mean, I know we do baseball a lot, but I'm like all in on football right now. So I'm going back to the NFL here. I know you surprised because usually I do college for this, but I'm all NFL. Spoiler, I'm all NFL this weekend. Let's start Ravens -3.5, -110. So in my opinion, we don't know a whole lot about either team. Dolphins looked very inefficient against the Pats, who were basically a mediocre football team. On the other side, Ravens got off to a slow start against a putrid Jets team. All right. But here's what I like about the Ravens. They're at home. I think Lamar is light years better than Tua. And I think the defense is a lot better than people think. Also, if you're looking at this just from a betting perspective, the money line is -180 for the Ravens. That is a heavy, heavy favorite in a game that a lot of people are considering two evenly matched teams here. So I'm going to roll with what Vegas thinks here. And I'm going -3.5 to start my Sunday here. That's at -110. I think Ravens are going to win this one by a touchdown.
I like that. I mean, I have Lamar in fantasy, so I'm definitely rooting Lamar. It seems like this is the year where I think he could make a run for MVP. Lamar, he's in a contract year looking to get a big payment. He turned down the first offer from the Ravens. But going up against the Dolphins, like you said, their offense didn't look that great against the New England Patriots last week. Ravens also not that battle-tested yet, but when you put the two teams together, I like the Ravens better than I like the Dolphins. And listen, this Ravens team, every year, they know how to win. Might get J.K. Dobbins back, which will help their rushing attack that much more. If he's back and he's healthy, he was a stud a couple of years ago before tearing his ACL. So I like this bet, 3.5. Yeah, the Ravens should pull this one out.
See, a lot of people are afraid to take the 3.5 because they think, oh, they win by a field goal, I lose. Yeah, that's true. But there's a reason for it. This might even move to 4. So if it's gonna move to 4, you might as well take it at 3.5 right now, the way it is too. So those are my thoughts on that. Washington versus the Lions, Key just said in the comments. That's another interesting game. I feel people are gonna tell me that I'm crazy. I feel like everybody should look out for Washington because now that Dak's out for 8 weeks. Look, the Eagles are pretty good. I think Carson Wentz is better than Jalen Hurts. I'm just going to say it right here. I'm going to put it out there that Carson Wentz is better than Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is a one-read quarterback. If you saw last week, if A.J. Brown's not open, he's just taking it down and he's running it, okay? I think that Washington is a team that you should look out for because now that East, I'm not going to say it's wide open. I still don't think the Giants are a great team. The Eagles are going to obviously be in the mix. I think Washington is a team that people should look out for. I'm saying it right here. I'm going to die on that hill that Carson Wentz is a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. And I don't even think Carson Wentz is that good. I think Jalen Hurts, he's just a one-read guy. Like, he just looks for A.J. Brown, and if A.J. Brown's not open, he just pulls it down and he runs. He's got to progress a little bit here for me to say that he's back. That's what I'm going with. I know Key is like livid right now because Eagles, and I mean, look, that's how I feel. What do you think I'm crazy?
Hurts just brings way more to the table, and Hurts is only in his second full year as a quarterback, and he's already taking this team to the playoffs. Carson Wentz, I mean, he's valuable to throw an interception at any moment in the game. Where Hurts, you could at least
Hurts.
Yeah, but Hurts can run. He can throw. I mean, Hurts is going to be fine. First off, he looked great. Him and A.J. Brown after 1 week together. And then eventually they're going to start incorporating Devontae Smith, who was a beast last year. Hurts looked for Smith last year. Now you have both of those.
Hurts looked for Smith last year. Hurts looked for Smith last year because he was the number 1 receiver. Hurts only throws to the first read. Watch him play. Watch him play.
What has Carson Wentz done since the 1 year in Philly? Wait, he went to the Colts. He was so bad they shipped him out in 1 year for Matt Ryan, who's 900 years old. That's how bad Carson Wentz was. And you're going to take him over Jalen Hurts, who could be the future of this Eagles team. And when Hurts brings the run-pass option to the table, when Carson Wentz doesn't give you anything.
Yes, he does bring the run-pass option to the table, but he's a one-read quarterback. The end of story. Watch him play. If A.J. Brown's not open, he pulls it down and he runs. That's all he did last week.
Wins games, though, and he puts up better stats.
They played the Lions, dude.
All right, well, he's playing Minnesota.
Jalen Hurts is also the king of garbage time. When the Eagles are down like 20, and he's just picks apart a prevent defense. That's all I'm saying.
1 year in the league with a roster a year ago that wasn't supposed to go anywhere. It took him to the playoffs. I know they got smoked by Brady, but it's pretty good for Jalen Hurts. When Carson Wentz, who had a way better, maybe not a better offense, but he had a better total team roster with the Colts last year, couldn't make the playoffs. They couldn't close down the stretch. So something to look out for.
All right, we'll see about it. I also disagree with you that he had a whole better roster in Indy last year.
He had a way better defense than Philly last year.
He had a better running back. He had a better running back.
Way better offensive line. Colts had the best offensive line in football and a better running back in Taylor.
I mean, the Eagles are pretty good up front, dude. I mean, all right, we'll see. We'll see what happens. All I'm saying is look out for Washington in the NFC East. Everybody's sleeping on them. That's all I'm going to say. Let's move on because it's Parlay Friday. There's a reason we're all here. It's parlays. That's it. That's all. That's the only reason people come here. They want to know what parlays are doing this weekend. Let's go. What do you got?
Calling this one the September Switch Parlay. Get these odds at plus 441. Kicking off with the Red Sox first five tonight. We got Michael Wacha taking on the Kansas City Royals. The Red Sox, they're not a good team, but guess what? They can hit. And Michael Wacha has been one of the few bright spots on the pitching staff this season, pitching to a 2.69 ERA. So he's been solid. If he throws a solid first 5 innings, we know the Red Sox can hit. They score some runs. That bet hits. Then we move on. We're going Colts minus 3.5. Could be a sucker bet, but I'm riding with the Colts. They tied with the Houston Texans last week. Texans are not a good team. Colts, they struggled early in the year, but I think this line is so small because they struggled last week. They're taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think the Colts will cover this one and defeat the Jaguars, no problem. And then lastly, we're going Tampa Bay Bucks on the money line. Tom Brady taking on the Saints. The Saints, they struggled with the Atlanta Falcons last week on the road. So now you get Brady and the defense who handled Dak and the Cowboys offense quite easily last week before Dak got hurt. So the Bucs defense, they were flying all over the ball. Brady, listen, when you're betting on Brady, things usually go pretty well for you because the man just all he does is win. So betting on the GOAT, not really a big issue here. Get these odds plus 441. Let's try and get going here in September.
I just this is probably good for you because I don't love your last two legs there. You just got to be careful. Think about things that happened last week in the NFL. You got to be careful with stuff like this. In division home underdogs cover early in the season. Texans, Texans and Falcons both. You mentioned that.
Well, that's what we're going Bucks money line, but the Colts we're gonna worry about on the spread a little bit. We're gonna be sweating that out. But,
yeah, that's the thing. I do think the Bucks will win that game. It might be a 1-point game, whatever. But just home dogs early in the season end up. It's weird. Weeks 1 through 8, home underdogs, they hit at a 60% clip. It's crazy. Covering the spread. I'm not saying money line. Don't go throw a plus 400 bet on on the Texans this week or whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, look, that's probably good for you that I'm telling you to be worried about that because
I like when you legit hate.
But I don't hate your picks.
No, I wanted you to hate it.
Yeah, I don't hate them.
When you said you loved my first 5 bet last week, I was very worried. By the way, how about that? I mean, I know my parlay didn't hit, but that first 5 that I hit last week, it was Rockies and it was Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks were down 8-1 in the 5th. They scored 9. They won 10-8 in 5 innings.
I mean, that's the thing about that's the most exhilarating 5-inning bet in the history of baseball right there. That was crazy. You had texted me. I was like, wait, it's 8-1. And then all of a sudden, the Diamondbacks just went bananas.
I saw bases loaded. I'm like, wait, there's nobody out. I was like, we're only down 2 here. Grand Slam puts us up. I was like, next thing I know, I see the little ESPN thing where the baseball flies over the wall. I was like, hold on a minute.
There you go. I mean, that you did better last week than I did. I mean, I took Bama minus 20.5 with my best bet. They barely won the game. They should have lost, actually, because that should have been a safety.
I was at work, so I couldn't see the game. But hey, listen, big week.
That was the worst call, and that was actually the worst call in the history of football.
I didn't see.
In the end, they should have had Texas should have had a safety. First, they called. What did they do? They called roughing the passer and targeting, and the guy didn't even. The guy didn't even A, hit him in the head, and B, he still had the ball in his hand when he got hit. So they reviewed it, and they were like, "There's no targeting or roughing the passer, but it's not a safety."
Yeah, I gotta watch it because
it was terrible. It was terrible. I'm not saying that's the reason they lost, but it had something to do with it. I think the refs might have had some money on Bama, which I don't know why you'd even take Bama money line. They're like minus 1,500, but that's besides the point. All right, here we go. Get into it. I'm calling this one bounce back like that parlay plus 728. We have Panthers money line, Pats money line, Cardinals plus 5.5, Packers money line. All right. Since 2012, teams that lost by double digits in week 1 are 40-25 against the spread in week 2. The Pats, Cardinals, and Packers all fit that bill. I know I said Pats and Packers money line, but they're favored, so if they cover the spread, they will also win the game. The Cardinals go into Vegas after looking absolutely terrible against the Chiefs, but I do think they'll keep this one tight. I expect the difference only to be a field goal here because neither of these teams is going to want to start 0-2. And now we get to the Panthers. I said I would bring this up. I think they're 1 point. They're 1.5 point underdogs in this game. I do think that the Panthers have an overall better roster than the Giants. I don't think either of these teams are that good. The Panthers actually, if you think about it, last year had the second best defense in football, second ranked defense in football, weirdly enough. The thing is, Christian McCaffrey only touched the ball 14 times last week. Ben McAdoo is the play caller over there, by the way, everyone. So that's an advantage Giants. But I think it's going to be tight. I do still think, like, Daniel Jones did not look good last week. I do still think he will make the mistake late that cost them the game. So with all that being said, I think it's going to be tight. I'd like the Panthers on the money line. Put all that together. This is the bounce back like that parlay plus 728.
I'm a big fan of this parlay. I like the Patriots a lot. I do think the Cardinals, Raiders, that's going to come down to the wire. So if it's within the 5.5 points, you're good there. Panthers probably a better team than the Giants. I mean, McCaffrey's probably going to touch the ball 1 billion times this week.
I don't know, though. I don't know if they're going to. That's the thing, because apparently they're like trying this thing where they keep him healthy. Some analytics guy told him he's only got to get this amount of touches to stay healthy, yada, yada, yada. I don't know. Maybe he gets it 15 times again, which would be a huge mistake because who else makes plays on that team?
Nobody. I guess the Rays front office, the Panthers front office is coordinating with the Tampa Bay Rays, doing a little load management there. So, we'll see.
I don't know. I mean, look, the Giants surprised me last week, especially on the lines, offensive and defensive line. I thought the offensive and defensive line both looked good. Saquon is sick.
So I want to ask you, just top of your head, Giants, no thinking, no nothing, over under win total right now for the Giants after a week 1 win.
Over under?
What do you think their win total could be for this year? Do you think they could compete? Is my question.
I don't know if they could compete. I think they could get to 7 wins.
Okay, because I have Giants friends that were celebrating like they won the Super Bowl. I was like, if that kick goes 4 feet to the right, the season's over already. So
here's the thing: if they win this week, they break my parlay, which I wouldn't like. But if they win this week, they're 2-0, and then they still have the Cowboys with Cooper Rush and the Bears.
Bears look good last week. The defense looked good.
Right, but like that's what I'm saying. Those are winnable games.
No, I agree 100%.
Like they have their next 3 games are winnable games. So if you have a few winnable games coming up, I don't know. I still think they're like a 7-win team. Maybe.
I respect. Yeah, I could see that.
Maybe. I'm not running to be like, oh, they're going to win the division. They still have Daniel Jones playing quarterback. That guy stinks. I don't know if anybody's seen him play football or watched him play football. He stinks. So
that's the problem.
He's a problem. Maybe if they win this week, I hope they don't win, honestly. I want a high draft pick. I need a quarterback. That's what I need. But I hope they don't win this week, and especially for this purpose of this parlay. Thing is, if they win this week, they're 2-0. Dallas lost Dak for 8 weeks. I don't know. I still think Washington's better than them. I think the Eagles are better than them. So it's going to be tough. I don't think they're a playoff team by any means. It's a wait and see thing. Let's see how they play. Let's see if Danny Jones gets better. 7 wins would be my benchmark for them.
I like it.
So that's it. All right. Anything else that you're looking at? Who's my team? My team is the Giants, Key. And I want them. I was hoping for 1-16 so we could go get CJ Stroud in first pick, but I'm not going to get that. So, we'll see. But, see how it goes. But listen, anything else you're looking at this weekend?
Not so much looking at the lines, but I'm excited for Monday Night Football. I mean, I just think Vikings, Eagles, that is going to be a wild matchup too.
Oh, I love that game.
High potent offenses, two, pretty decent middle of the pack to upper echelon defenses. That's going to be a really, really good game on Monday night.
I love that game.
Right?
I'm probably taking the Vikings.
I like that. They're +2, I believe, on the road. So
yeah, I want to see where it moves to, if it moves, but I'm probably taking the Vikings.
Yeah, I just want to hold off on them one more week before I'd be like, they're going to be legit. I know they smoked Green Bay, but that was at home last week. Now going on the road in Philly, game 2, new offense. We'll see how it goes. But the Vikings are going to be good this year.
I know. I'm looking ahead to Texas A&M and Miami on Saturday night. Texas A&M is coming off like an embarrassingly bad loss to Appalachian State. But what I think is that they're going to bounce back because Jimbo Fisher's a pretty good coach. I think they're going to bounce back. I think that's going to be a tight battle. It's in A&M, and I think Miami has improved a little bit. I think it's going to be tight for a half, and then A&M is going to pull away at the end. I could be completely wrong, but I'm looking forward to actually watching that game on Saturday.
It should be a good one. Anytime you got, a ranked team and they're taking on, who are they taking on?
Miami, they're both ranked. Texas A&M's like 25th, 23rd, or 21st, and Miami's ranked 13th. So we'll see.
Should be premier game of the week. So nice.
Premier game of the week. Let's go. All right, everyone. That's going to do it for us on Parlay Friday. Don't forget to subscribe to the Spotlight Sports Network. Don't forget to subscribe to Parlay Friday. Don't forget, please, if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, please leave us a review. We're trying to bump up the rankings right now. So please don't forget to leave us a review on Apple or Spotify. And listen, have a great time this weekend. Good luck. And remember, if you want to be a man at night, you got to be a man in the morning. We'll see you next week.